Hello, everyone on Facebook and Instagram and elsewhere. This is Texas Book Talk, and I'm Heather Renee May. And we do this every Wednesday. I bring in an author, usually a Texas author, and introduce you to them and get a chance to have a little chat. And it's just a fun way for us to share each other's work and what we're doing. And this week, I have L.R.W. Lee, and she is the author of Genre Bending Stories in Vivid Worlds with Sweet Romance and Stunning Plot Twists. And I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out what that means. She's written over 20 books, and she is a USA Today best-selling author. So without further ado, let me bring Linda on. Hey, Linda.
Hey there.
Welcome to Texas Book Talk.
Thank you. This is great.
Yeah. Okay. So what is genre bending? What is this? Tell me.
Yeah. So, you did a really good job. That's my brand proposition, right? So I write genre bending romance or genre bending stories in vivid worlds with sweet romance and stunning plot twists that not only help you escape, but actually help you live better. Okay.
So tell me more about that. I want to hear more about that.
So before we go too far, I know that everybody listening, really what they care about is what is in this for me. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about with dissecting this brand statement, if you want to say that. So
I love it.
Starting with let's start at the end and work our way backwards. So that actually help you live better. Okay. So that is my passion. I'm clear that when somebody sits down and reads a book, one of my books, I get their undivided attention for about 8 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I get to have a conversation, hopefully uninterrupted. Well, it depends on how many interruptions with the dog and the kids and whatever, but, uninterrupted with the reader. And what I know is that in 8 hours, I can share with them narratives that truly can help a person live better. And so, for instance, I have 4 series. One of them, for example, the underlying theme, if you want to call it that, is #MeToo. And it's about so if you are somebody who's been subjected to that, rather than living as a victim, how do you overcome and start living, if you want to say, a victorious life? That's not to say you minimize what happened at all, but it's a very different orientation toward life from allowing it to control you versus you controlling it.
There's a shift. There's a shift that has to happen.
Correct. Yeah. So that's one. My God of Secrets series is all about body image, self-image, self-confidence. That type of thing. So, for somebody who doesn't feel good about themselves, typically it's women. Most guys are fine, it's like whatever. But, it's usually women. And it's a certain thing about, it's like my daughter, for example, she hates her calves. She's like, I got my calves from dad. It's like, they're these huge honking things, right? But it's like, it's part of self-image, body image. And it's like, if you just can't stand part of yourself, short of having surgery, it's like, how do you learn to love yourself? Right. And I think it's like, you don't have to be a supermodel.
Yeah. And I think part of life is going through that process of figuring out how to love yourself when you don't think you're perfect. I mean, I think that
yes.
Or what we think is perfect or what we see is perfect. Right. So, yeah.
Or what's been told, what we've been told is perfect and what we have to be, right? It's like, no. So like, I dispense with that idea.
That's great.
And then my current series, it really is about, so when you look at the news, you see all this crap happening. It's like, you feel like the world is upside down, and it causes angst, right? And so really my current series that I'm writing is all about how can you have hope and peace despite all the turmoil and chaos going on around you.
Ooh. That's
So,
good.
just really light, fluffy topics that
I love it. I love it so much. I mean, because I think the thing that makes fiction really good is that when the writers we're putting ourselves into it, and not only, I mean, I don't know about you, but I learn from my characters, but also we're able
Yes.
to put our life learnings and things into those characters to help other people get unstuck, get figure
Yeah.
things out, feel loved, feel, all of the things that we all search for. And
Mm-hmm.
that was definitely like my first book was about that. It was about going through a hard divorce and finding
Mm,
yourself, saving yourself, but maybe you get the good guy too, or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. So like,
right.
I mean, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's really okay. So one of your Morningstar Academy series has been called Angels and Demons on Steroids. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, and let me just share with y'all the I'm going to show the covers of these books are absolutely gorgeous. So there's 3 books in the series so far, is that right?
So far, and I'm
Um,
working on the fourth and final.
oh, it's so exciting. So cursed, damned, and marked. But look at that heroine. Okay, so do you want to chat about
Sure.
that series? Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you like to know?
Oh, well, tell me what is this Angels and Demons on Steroids? Like
Sure. Yeah, so it is a young adult apocalyptic. This is a mouthful. So yeah, it's an apocalyptic academy fantasy. Okay. So apocalyptic meaning the end of the world. And then academy. So it's basically a school ish kind of a scene,
okay. Okay.
background
I
to
was
it.
wondering. Yeah, okay.
So essentially, what it is the plot is we have celestial warriors who are tasked with helping humans, okay?
Hmm.
Getting them out of problems, okay? So I should backtrack and say this is all told from the point of views of celestial warriors and fallen angels, okay?
Hmm.
So it's not a human perspective, it's their perspective. So we
Hmm.
have a celestial squadron of warriors, and during one of their routine excursions or missions down to Earth to help humans, one of them accidentally kills a demon, like kills. Not so these demons typically they will, if a celestial blade hits them, they will wink out of existence and then they go and regenerate and then they at some point come back. Well, in this particular case, this thing is dead, like dead. And
Hmm.
this is like something that doesn't happen maybe once an eon kind of a thing. Well, as a result, the its demon fellows put a target on this celestial warrior's back. Okay,
Sure.
so the protagonist is Gladriel, and so when that happens, they say we are going to get revenge for you
Mm.
killing our buddy. So what ends up happening is her partner, Glad's partner, ends up getting in the way, and they end up cleaving her wings. And so Glad then vows to take revenge on the ones who did it, right? On the demons who did it. Well, the
Mm.
Almighty calls her before him, before this happens, and says, I got this. Let me handle it. And
Ah.
after a month of his seeming inaction, she's frustrated and decides to take matters into her own hands, which she does. But that is the inciting incident that causes her to fall to begin with. So she falls. Okay. So you still have her existing squadron still in the heavenlies, and then she has fallen down to what I call second heaven. Okay. So the story evolves from there, and it's her experiences enrolled in MorningStar Academy. So Lucifer was known as the Morning Star. So MorningStar Academy. Okay. And so
Ooh.
essentially she is forced the school demands that, what do I say? The school requires that they, as part of their education, they learn how to basically make human lives a living hell. Okay, which is completely opposite from what she's always been doing. She's always been saving them, right? So she puts her
Right.
foot down right away and refuses to comply, and thus there's an awful lot of conflict that revolves or evolves from this, right?
Oh,
So
this sounds so exciting. And Marty,
yes.
I can see a movie in the making here. Or a series for sure. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
So
so what let me kind of back up and ask you a little bit about like what got you into writing fantasy? How did you get started? You've written 20 books.
yep.
Um, and also how do you become a USA Today best-selling author?
Okay. Well, I'll take your first question first.
Okay.
So how did I start? At the age of 8, I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. A lot of
Mhm.
people have seen the films that were out, whatever. At the age of 8, so that was the first fantasy book I ever remember reading. And I was
Mm.
fascinated because, so yes, I read the story and it was a great story, but more, my 8-year-old mind observed Lewis had what I call 3 layers in his story. He had then present day London, he had Narnia, but he also
Mhm.
had the most significant part to me was a meaning layer that underlaid the whole thing. And that meaning layer was, I mean, in his particular case, so he was a Christian, and
Mhm.
that meaning layer, so basically Aslan, the lion, is basically Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
And I mean, which makes perfect sense because Jesus has been referred to as the Lion of Judah. Okay, that's one of his titles. So Aslan the lion, basically in the Chronicles of Narnia, he gets bound, he's thrown on, he's put on the stone table, and he's killed. Right, the stone table, if you recall, it ends up splitting in half. That basically is the veil in the temple cut in two, and
Mhm.
so on and so forth. Right, and then Aslan comes back to life. So
Mhm.
it's kind of the same thing, but that meaning layer is what stuck out in my 8-year-old brain. And I'm like, when I get older, I want to write a book like that, kind of that structure. Um, and it took me, so, you do your whole career and whatever. And then I ended up owning a company and then sold the company, whatever. And then I had an opportunity to become something else. And I'm like, I think I get to write now. So that's when I started writing. So that's what
How
started.
do you mind me asking how old you were when you started writing?
Not at all. Let's see. So I'm 58. So it was 12 years ago. So I guess I was 46.
I
So
love this. So for anyone listening and watching this later, and you think that it's too late for you to write a book, that your time is past, she started then and she has written 20 books since, and she's not stopping.
yes.
So
No.
just, it's never too late. I love that so much. I wrote
Yes.
my first book when I was, well, let's see, it was 20. I think I was 44.
There you
So
go. So
yeah.
kind of the
Mhm.
same. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So the other part of your question, you asked, how did I become a USA Today bestselling author?
Yes. Yes.
So that was a project that a group of authors and I participated in. We basically put together a box set of,
Ooh.
so it happened to be, the theme of the set was fairy tale retellings. And I did it using my Sandmaiden series, which is it's a mashup of Morpheus, the god of dreams, and the Sandman. So it's like it's
Mm.
all in dream realm, and it's a Greek retelling. It's a Greek mythological retelling of Morpheus. But anyway, so I wrote a fairy tale retelling, basically about um, Sleeping Beauty. Only in
Mm.
this particular case, there was the guy was Sleeping Beauty, and we had a sand maiden basically come down, and he's sleeping, and she has to wake him up, but he can't communicate. He's stuck in this dream state. Anyway, so that was and actually that's still out on Amazon, I think, When You Wish. But it's just a short, it's it was, I think, about a 40,000 word book, not novella, I guess. But we all put them together. And then over a period of about 9 months, we, hit social, we hit, all sorts of stuff. And I think it was October the 6th that year, we hit number 68, I think it was, on the USA Today list. It was like, yes. So
That's
a whole
awesome.
bunch of us got that at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
bravo. It's a huge accomplishment.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to do on your own.
yeah, and I was going to say, and we've chatted a bit. Being an indie author, it's more and more prevalent nowadays as trad publishing from COVID on has kind of like clamped down a bit, or a lot. But also, we also enjoy having the freedom of like being able to be in, have control over our cover art, of our editors, of the people we work with, and all the things. And so it doesn't mean that's any less wonderful as a traditionally published book. It just means that the authors have more say. And so what you're reading and what you're getting is actually from the author's heart. Like it's actually their vision. It's not coming from a company or a conglomerate. So, so it's something, it's very exciting to see being recognized like that. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wonder, I always like to have the authors I talk to, like, if you have any advice, because I feel like a lot of people I talk to when they find out I'm an author, they're like, oh, I have a book I want to write, or someday I'm going to do this,
Isn't that what everybody says? I have this book. Yeah.
Yes. And so, I mean, you don't have to respond to that necessarily, but if you have a tip, it could be a writing tip, it could be, whatever that you want to share with folks too. I'm always about encouraging people to live their dreams. So
absolutely. So I will, my tip will include this. So this is the emotion thesaurus.
Ooh, okay.
So
Emotion thesaurus. It looks backwards on our camera, possibly.
Oh, I don't know how to fix this, but anyway.
That's okay. I'll add a link to this after the fact.
So it's by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi, Puglisi. Essentially, well, I'll tell you why I like it in a minute. So big tip I would say is when telling the story, you never want to tell people what's happening. You want to show them. And I'm sure you've heard the word, you heard the phrase, show, don't tell. But what does that really mean? Right?
A lot of people ask this. Yes, please.
Yes. So what it means is use all 5 senses to convey the story. So rather than telling people he walked into the room and there was a stone floor and he was wearing boots and whatever, you heard it. I hear the scuffling of boots as someone enters the room. It's a very different thing, right? It's like, and so hence emotion thesaurus, this is huge. So for instance, how do you show an emotion? Right? It's like, well, so if somebody's really worried, there are many things that they do. You could go, or, or something like that. Write that. Don't say they're worried.
Fidgeting with something on their purse or something while they're.
Here's I'll give you an example. Anger. Okay. Physical signs and behaviors: flaring nostrils, noisy breathing, sweating, sweeping arm gestures, handling objects of people roughly. That's just an example. But it's like, make your characters do those things. Don't tell them that they're angry. And what it ends up doing. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
What it ends up doing when you do that effectively is my readers write reviews that say, I found myself in this world. Like I felt like I was there. As because if you tell people, then there's this barrier that you've got just created, as opposed to, no, you just plop them into the scene and they're dealing with your world and experiencing it from their own senses.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
very
I think
engaging.
that I think that you're absolutely correct. And Stephen King on writing, and I actually
Yeah,
listened to the audiobook of that because he narrates it, and it's almost like he's yelling at you. It's really fantastic. And and besides Kill Your Darlings, which is absolutely phenomenal, but his whole like adverbs, like, don't be angrily, noisily, da, 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 you like forget all of that.
yes,
You figure out a better way to describe what that, to actually show what that is. And it really does make it read better. I think that our writing is a craft. It's not something you're born with, and it's something you have to
totally.
continually learn. And just like he also says in that book, he's like, the book you're writing right now is going to be as good as it's going to be right now, and the next book's going to be as good as it's going to be then. And like
Yes.
you can't compare. Like when I look back on my first book, I'm like, oh, I could have changed this, or I could have, every book I get hopefully evolve a little bit and learn a
Yep.
little bit. Now, if you don't, maybe that's not so great. But like but you hope you learn. And I have great editors. I have an editor, a line instructional editor, and she is not afraid to tell me like, this was beautifully written, but it doesn't serve the plot. Cut it. Or,
Yes.
or,
Yes,
or,
exactly.
or be like, what do you mean by this? And what, like, she's very frank with everything that I send her, which I love because it really forces me to ask myself questions and to rethink the characters and what I'm trying to do. So,
Yes. Yeah, I think it's so I am a plotter, not a pantser. And I
oh,
put out detailed outline together, very detailed, uh, before I ever start writing the book. Every chapter has to serve the purpose of advancing the plot. If it can't answer why are you there, it's gone before I even bother investing the time and energy to write the words.
yeah. Yeah. So my first one was pantsed, which makes sense. Is my first, and it was a COVID exercise. I said, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, drinking wine. We're going to see what happens. So it was just, yeah, I was stuck in a travel trailer, in Spicewood, Texas. I was like, I'm going to figure, yeah. But, this third one that's coming out on October 1st, it is plotted. However, I found out, and I don't know if you found this too. I had in mind that these things were going to happen. And once I started writing and started getting into it with Kara, I realized I was like, this can't happen. This doesn't make sense. Wait, he can't be. How could he say that? Where is he going to go there? Like, and then all of a sudden, so then I would walk around for like 2 days contemplating all the scenarios of all the things to figure out like how can I make this work? Because this has to work to get to the next plot line that I want. And so it was actually really fun. And I hope it's the manuscripts with the editor. I'll find out in the next few weeks, but I'm hoping she likes it better than my others, and I hope also she'll give me the feedback that I need to like figure out all the things. But it was fun.
Yeah,
I don't know
it is
if you
kind of fun when you're busy writing and you suddenly realize, oh, he needs a knife if he's going to kill somebody here. It's like, and where does he
yeah,
get the knife? Oh, well, you know what? Okay, I think I have to add a knife back in scene 5, right?
yeah. Or you're like, wait, but why would he get that thing? Or because you start as a reader, you start to realize you're like, wait, but the readers aren't stupid and they have to like, and there's a fine line. So this is my first mystery, and there's a fine line with writing just enough that connects the dots. So by the time the readers have the aha moment right at the same time that the thing's happening, not that they figure it
Yes,
out beforehand. So
yes,
like it's a lot of weaving, and then you're like, but that's not believable. But is this like, does this make, and so yeah, it
yes,
is fun. I have really
yeah.
enjoyed it.
My
Yeah.
God of Secret series, I think, was the one that I had the most fun with just messing with readers and introducing these plot twists that they're like, whoa, okay, I did not see that one coming. And it was
Yeah.
so much fun because it's like, I mean, even as I was plotting it, I actually was working with a mentor at the time, and I had all 4 books. Like, this is what's going to happen in this one, da 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 da. And I got to the third one, and she's like, "Whoa, okay, didn't see that one." So it was like even the professional um, was surprised at how that all worked out. So yes,
That's what I that's what I hope for. You kind of like build up the good characters, but then they're the ones who actually do it. But like you don't want, so like there's like such a nuance to all of it. Uh
yeah,
it's gonna be fun to do the final edits. and revisions on this. But yeah. Well, we're kind of nearing the end of our time. I don't see any chats, but you know that this goes up on YouTube and it is evergreen, and we're going to share it out. And so people, you know, a lot of times people can't tune in live, which is totally fine. We understand. But if you ever have any questions and you want to reach out to Linda, aka L.R.W. Lee, and find out about her amazing books. So I love that you said that I'm in the beginning, because I'm on book 3, and most people are like one and done. And you're like, oh, honey, you're just beginning at your 20 books. I love that so much. So if you want to share with everyone where they can find your books, where they can find you, if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah. So thanks for that. So first, I would say go to my website, which is lrwlee.com. I have all of my books in both ebook as well as paperback, and there's a few hardcovers there as well as bundles. So if you're looking for, you know, some price breaks, they're only on my website. Okay. So once again, that's lrwlee.com. Now they are also on Amazon and they're in Kindle Unlimited. So if you want, if you're just used to going to Amazon to get your ebooks, whatever, they're over there too. But they are more expensive there, I will tell you. So, so there's that. Plus, if you get them off my website, if it's a paperback, I'll autograph it for you, right? And and the ebooks are really simple to download, so you save yourself a few bucks.
Nice, I love that so much. And now the MorningStar series is your latest series that's out, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I'm going to share the book covers again, so everyone has an image in your mind. Go check it out, and definitely go to her website, lrwlee.com. Or you know, find them elsewhere, whatever you are comfortable with. But I'm excited. It sounds like a great series. And just a plug for myself that I have the Texas Wine Trail series. There's 3 books. The 3rd book coming out October 1st, Cactus Cradle. It's a mystery. It's Texas wine. It's a fun, fictional, uplifting story, and you won't want to miss it. So definitely stay tuned for more details.
What can be Texas Wine Trail? I mean, come on, a little wine, a little, a little book, a little wine. It's all good.
RV life, books, drinking. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a fast, fun beach read. It's great. So
it's great.
And a mystery this time, which is really fun. So yeah. Well, Linda, this has been great chatting with you. I'm so excited that I got to share your books and your story, and hopefully I'll have you back on your next releases as we grow our following and we get bigger and have a wider reach. But
sounds good.
Thank you so much. And for everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful evening, whatever you're planning on doing. And we'll see you back here next Wednesday for Texas Book Talk at 5:30 Central for 30 minutes. See you next week.